It's Friday, October 30th, 2009. In this week's Beaker Beat, the House offers its version of healthcare reform, offering a deal to medical device makers, but at a cost to others. Plus, more proof that a good deed never goes unpunished, backlash against Big Pharma and the H1N1 vaccine.
Are rocking the sales team. I feel very blessed.
And next time a bad driver cuts you off, don't get upset. Chances are they can't help it. We'll explain why. Those stories and more in this week's edition of Beaker Beat. Good evening. Welcome to this week's edition of Beaker Beat. I'm Mike Justice. How'd you like that for my vampire voice? I gotta work on it, it's terrible. Anyway, this week we're coming to you from historic Oakwood Cemetery in Raleigh, North Carolina. This is the area's oldest cemetery, dating back to the 18th century. So on the eve of Halloween, we wanted to come to you from someplace most folks find scary. Cemetery will do, I think. And you know, I was also thinking, what should I be for Halloween that would be scary? Not too scary. Better. And speaking of scary, the life sciences industry has been terrified while Congress worked on healthcare reform bills. There are two primary versions, one in the House, which just came out this week, and one in the Senate. The chances are they'll mix them into a single piece of legislation. The Senate bill has a $40 billion tax over 10 years on the medical device industry. And that tax would be shared by companies and based on market share. The House bill, however, cuts the tax in half and works at the point of sale. However, the House bill could leave drug makers screaming. Here's what scares them. A Medicaid provision forcing drug makers to lower prices for senior citizens, plus freedom for the government to negotiate drug prices directly with the pharmaceutical companies. All told, it could cost $140 billion to drug makers. So no matter how you slice it, both device and drug manufacturers are accepting the reality that they will be asked to fund a portion of healthcare reform in the U.S. And while the government argues that more insured Americans will lead to great product consumption, the industry claims that the innovation tax will slash R&D spending and kill advancement. So what do you think? Do you think these taxes will kill innovation? Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you. It's very simple. You click on the orange button above my head, a box pops up, type in your comments, send it to me. I promise I'll read and respond to every single one of them. Plus, coming up later in the show, we'll tell you how you can enter to win cash prizes in our Beaker stimulus plan. And when you're done watching Beaker Beat, go to Beaker's blog and see how one pharma CEO is taking the unusual step of reaching out beyond the corner office. And watch our personal greeting to you, Monster Mash style. As you can tell, I'm not that hairy, really. But I do think our CEO might be a mad scientist. Those stories and more on Beaker's blog.
So why are we still using chicken eggs?
Like this one, to produce vaccines. If somebody can tell us, we'd sure like to know.
Well, that's a fine how do you do. The pharma companies that are hustling to make and provide the swine flu vaccine for the world are now under attack. In this video made by a government commission on terrorism, must make sense in Washington. Anyway, two former senators take a direct swipe at the leading vaccine manufacturers and their, quote, archaic production methods. GSK, Novartis, CSL, Bayer, MedImmune, and Sanofi Aventis must be thrilled that as they try to save the planet from a massive pandemic, some choose to take shots at how they do it rather than support it. The video claims there are better, cheaper, and faster ways to make a vaccine, and perhaps that's true, but now may not be the best time to pick a fight over it.
Little do you know you're drawing ever closer to the poison donut. There is a poisoned one, isn't there, Smithers?
So this next story is the perfect example of why the common worker bee has such animosity for corporate CEOs. Japanese pharma giant Nippon Sumitomo has completed its $2.6 billion acquisition of Seprecor. Now this triggers change in control provisions that could deliver about $11 million in pay and benefits to Seprecor CEO Adrian Adams. No, he's not the devil. That's better. And besides, he'll take a huge tax hit. Now, according to a regulatory filing, the 58-year-old Adams stands to receive a $5.6 million severance payment. Stop it. And another $300K for things like life insurance premiums, car expenses, a housing allowance, and a medical insurance opt-out payment. Well, there's your healthcare answer, America. Just be a CEO and sell your company. Moving on. Adams is also in line to get another $4.2 million in restricted stock, also scheduled to vest. He will also get $867,000 in tax gross-up payments to help cover the tax liabilities from his change in control compensation. So wait a second, the guy won't even have to pay taxes on his huge windfall? Let's review. He took over the company in 2007. He laid off about 1,000 people, sold the company, and has enriched himself. We'll let you decide. Well, coming to the cemetery, it's always interesting to see what people write as an epitaph on their tombstone. So we have a couple here. See what they say. This one here says, "Here lies an atheist, all dressed up and no place to go. One way to look at it. This one here says, "Here lies the body of John Round, lost at sea and never found." Lost at sea. Anyway, checking quick hits now, and Santa Fe Aventis is opening up its wallet. The company is forking over up to $350 million to privately held Gaithersburg, Maryland-based WellStat Therapeutics. The deal is for exclusive worldwide licensing rights to a potential type 2 diabetes drug, now in mid-stage development. St. Jude Medical has received CE mark approval for its quadrupolar pacing system designed for cardiac resynchronization therapy defibrillators. The device allows doctors to better handle common pacing problems. General Electric is launching a $250 million venture fund that will be used to purchase stakes in small startup firms focused on medical technology development. The move is aimed at boosting the company's position in the fields of life sciences, diagnostic devices, and information technology. Let's check a couple more headstones, see what we can find out. This one here, it's got a good name. Here lies Mike. He drank good ale, good punch and wine, and lived to the age of 99. Good job. It's good advice, too. This one here lies Pa. Pa liked women. Ma caught Pa in with 2 swimming. Here lies Pa. Alrighty then. Bad for Pa. Checking money matters now, and Christmas came early for 2 Pfizer executives. Wonder how Santa gets all that loot down the chimney. Pfizer awarded the bonuses after completing its $68 billion purchase of former rival Wyeth. CFO Frank D'Amelio will get $1.2 million in cash and stock, and Ian Reed, head of biopharmaceutical business, will get $1 million. The New York drug maker said the awards were for their performance and leadership in completing the deal. Genzyme took a big hit in the third quarter thanks to the temporary shutdown of a key manufacturing facility for its flagship product Cerezyme. Revenue fell by $1 billion from 2008. The company has resumed production of Cerezyme and expects to begin shipping in late November. Let's take a look at another one. This one's nice and big and impressive. Probably someone was well liked. It says here, "This stone was raised by Sarah's Lord, not Sarah's virtues to record, for they are known to all the town. This stone was raised to keep her down." Okay. Anyway, let's check our mailbag. And it's not really a mailbag because it's all email, but anyway, we're going to start with a compliment. Ken writes, "Love the program each week. Great mix of humor and info."
And now for this news flash. The worst blizzard in 50 years is approaching us at a great rate. The Weather Service reports that barometers are falling sharply. Oh no! Ah!
Thanks, Ken. We try. And he goes on to say, "It's a great way to stay in touch with what's happening in the industry, especially for those of us who've been out of work. As for the health care bill, I don't see how anything that is run by the government is going to help the industry. Keep up the good work." Mike in Sanford, North Carolina writes, "Great segment on the corn maze shtick. I initially missed the good-looking blonde female and thought Beaker had lost it when they put a guy on the net. What, I'm not attractive? However, I must say that I have enjoyed your creativity and sense of humor. Beaker provides great insight into the world of pharma and biotech. Keep up the great work and keep highlighting those North Carolina sites. We could use the positive press." Thanks, Mike, I think. Well, finally today, Tom writes, "Mike, great job. Always informative and succinct. 2 very good things." Thanks, Tom. We agree.
Audrey, when they close the road, they put up big signs, like this one.
So just when you thought you had all your bad driving stereotypes down, you know, the bad drivers are the Asians or women or the elderly or Jeremy. Anyway, now a whole new wrench has been thrown into the works. Apparently, some new study is out that says that maybe these poor people who cut you off without using the turn signal or sliding over 3 lanes at the very last second to catch their exit, it might not be their fault. A small study by neurologists at UC Irvine suggests that some people are simply born with a bad driving gene. People with a gene variant that limits the availability of brain-derived neurotrophic factor do about 20% worse on driving tests than people with the common variant. Previously, it was shown that people with the variant have a smaller portion of their brain stimulated when doing a task, and it is linked to slower recovery from a stroke. Clearly, this gene can be linked to ancient Rome when Ben-Hur would ride through the streets and ignore all traffic laws. In fact, we're making it worth your while to get in touch with us. We're launching our Giving Back Stimulus campaign. It's our own version of a stimulus campaign, and it involves you. It's simple, really. We want you to send in a photo of you and your colleagues watching Beaker Beat. Everyone who does gets free Beaker items like lapel pins and posters, and we have gift cards for 10 lucky winners just in time for the holidays. But you have to send in that photo to be entered, and pass it on to your coworkers. Get everyone in your office involved. Each photo equals 1 entry, a limit of 2 per week. Well, that's it for this week's edition of Beaker Beat. I'm Mike Justice. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
He did the Monster Mash.
The Monster Mash.
It was a graveyard.
Sit, Beaker. Sit. Good dog.